Hello and welcome. My name is Tom.
Oh, and I'm Heather.
And you're sitting at the couples table. Today, we are doing something very different, which we promised we would do last time in our last episode.
Yes.
And that is bring in some special guests.
We're doing a call-in show. Well, it's not really a call-in show.
Kind of.
Yeah.
We're calling it a call-in show. So we have a pretty awesome lineup of people.
I know, we're so excited.
And we definitely have a really solid plan for what we're doing. But really, everybody's so different that we just sort of want to get a taste for different people who have been part of our community every week and learn a little bit about them, what they do, and just sort of help better understand our community as a whole.
And I think most of the guests that we're going to be having on today actually are creators themselves, which is super exciting because even though this podcast is the couples table where Tom and I don't know, we just talk about whatever. We are also content creators and we're very passionate about using digital tools to share our stories and connect with other people. So I'm excited for everyone who's going to be joining us to talk a little bit about what they create, but then also just to hang out, just to get to know you guys, just to try something new. We figure we just, switch it up and it's not just all about us because, I don't know, there's a cool vibe in the community and we wanted to kind of just give everyone a chance to say hi. You know what I mean? Hopefully I don't cry this episode like last time.
That was my favorite part of that. Before we jump into everybody, I do want to point out Aaron's going to be one of our special guests, so he's setting up here.
Okay, cool.
We have a few others in the green room. Derek Snyder, hello, sir. Thank you for joining us. Also want to point out Young Broke Musicians. They were part of a live stream on my channel. We've been kind of following back and forth. They have an awesome podcast, video podcast.
Very cool.
Very much a worthwhile channel to check out.
Fully in the house.
This should be fun. We'll see how this goes. And James and Mark are here. They're also soon to be featured guests. So we got quite the special lineup. Heather's in our control room. I don't know if you saw at the beginning, but I have multiple angles now because we're using also my school streaming.
We have quite the setup. It's funny because this is Tom's school setup for him teaching during the day, and it's so legit. And I can't even imagine for the students that take Tom's class and then they have the teacher next period who has the laptop and that's it.
Whatever.
Which it's fine. We're all doing our best.
Exactly.
But his setup is pretty legit.
So here we're gonna bring in a guest.
Oh snap! Here he is.
The thing that I'm interested in. I don't think you guys are gonna have any problem hearing them. I'm trying to figure out a way that makes sure we can hear them. It's gonna be very hard to have a conversation otherwise.
Oh.
Yes, I think I got it.
Okay, cool.
But I don't know. So we will see. Do you want to take it over, Heather? You're our control person.
Okay, let's do an intro.
Yes.
Okay, so our first guest has how did our first guest find us?
Our first guest is a creator himself.
Yes.
He lives in Ireland. I sure hope I'm not wrong about that.
In the UK.
And he's been on every single episode of the couples table, but it's one of the reasons that we started doing it early is because he's for his own sanity of being able to go to sleep. But
it's really late there.
He had a podcast he was working on that I was a guest on, and we just sort of hit it off. He's a super fun guy, just super interesting, really down to earth, super insightful, and just someone that's really cool to have a part of the community.
Yeah. And his name is Aaron. Okay, ready? Here, let's see if this works. Add to
Aaron.
Hey!
Hi, how are you both? Hi.
Oh, it works. Oh, here, we don't scoot in.
Oops. Also, the street sweeper is driving by, so.
Yeah.
Well, that suits me just fine.
So the dogs are barking. Hi, how are you? What time is it? What are you up to?
Well, it's just after midnight here, so it's not as late as usual.
Late.
There's been times whenever I've been tuning into your show and it's been 3 a.m. So.
Oh my gosh!
Wow,
that's crazy.
I think real quick, I'm gonna try to change our speaker just to make sure it's going to the podcast as well, and I think
how does it sound on your end for the viewers?
It sounds just fine. I've gone out of my way. I don't know if you can tell. I wore a purple shirt to try and match with Heather, and I got a bit of a blue light going on for Tom here. So
very on brand.
This is the thing, is we can see everybody in the little preview window. We're using StreamYard to do this, and we can see everybody in the little preview window, and everybody's setups look really cool.
Yeah,
so cool. So Aaron, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? I know that you're a creator yourself in a lot of different ways. I know you really specialize in audio, or at least it seems like that's how we've connected. So tell us what you're up to. Just let us know who is this person behind the screen name that we see every week.
Okay, well, in my day-to-day life, I'm an IT consultant, but in my hobbies, and for the last going on now 12 years, I've been a podcaster. I've had a podcast since about 2008. So,
wow.
Which kind of has been on and off for years. I mean, I do it with a couple of friends, and then there was maybe a break of about 3 or 4 years in there. Then we picked it up again, and we've been running with it ever since. Goodness, it's actually so warm in here that I'm getting condensation on my glasses. So, so about, I'd say 3-4 months ago, I finally got around to starting my own company, doing basically editing podcasts for people and doing things like setting up live streams and basically working in the same general area that your videos would tend to present in. So yeah, I mean that's kind of how I came across you. Was maybe about a year ago I started watching your videos about the Rodecaster. As I was waiting for my own Rodecaster to arrive, I just wanted to see somebody who had one.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people find you through the Rodecaster videos. Congratulations on the 25,000 subs, by the way. 25,000 is an incredible.
Thank you so much. He hit 25 today.
Yeah.
25,000 guys.
Bananas.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's well earned.
Oh, well, thank you so much. So what? Let's see here.
What's your podcast called?
My podcast is called The Sunnyside Podcast Show. We added in podcast show to make it sound as redundant as possible. And it's just me. And it used to be called The Sunnyside Comics Show, where we chatted about comics because one of the guys works in comics, and it was really just a way for me to get together with some friends and chat about an interest that we had. You can probably see I'm surrounded by comics here behind me.
Yeah.
But when the show came back, it became a more general purpose, pop culture, media, mental health, anything we could think of to discuss came up. Since that show came back, the 2 of us are now parents. I'm not, but the other 2 guys are.
Oh, wow.
So they have a lot different perspective on life than they had before. So it's just a general chit chat show, and occasionally it takes us into weird and personal areas, and it's just been a real fun thing to do on a regular basis, as I'm sure you can attest to.
Yeah.
Yes. Life definitely has a way of attempting to sort of derail creative endeavors, but I mean I guess that's part of the journey. So let's see. I'm really curious, because one thing I've noticed is whenever Heather and I are having discussions, no matter what we're talking about, you can kind of jump in and provide some awesome insight.
So cool.
So I would recommend, obviously, anyone check out your show, Sunny Side Up Podcast Show, on all major platforms. Yes.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah. So if you search for Sunnyside, it's usually the first thing that comes up on all the podcast platforms.
Perfect. And beyond that, though, based on what you know about us, your own life experiences, what you think people who watch our podcast and live stream might think, what are just some what is a great maybe life lesson you've learned, piece of advice,
I love this.
motivational tidbit that you would like to share that you think might be helpful?
Fail quickly and fail often.
Oh, I love it. You know what? I wish you had told me this a couple hours ago, because I was banging my head trying to work on my online course stuff. And really, I should just not worry about making it perfect. And if I fail, it's all good because it's data.
Well, the way I look at it is, if I feel like this is true for me, you, for Aaron, for everybody that's in our stream, if you have a certain level of standard for yourself, your failure isn't going to be, you're less than perfect, you're good enough, is still going to be pretty good. Yeah. It's not going to be
you were saying that
total garbage. And so I think there's already a baseline of more than adequate, and anything else is icing on the cake.
Yeah. Although, I mean, saying that, I still suffer from the same thing that I think a lot of people do, where I would love to have a YouTube channel, But I'm a slave to that notion of I can't do it until I have this bit of gear, or I have that thing, and you've been one of the people that's kind of been constantly saying you don't need to do that, just start making videos. And
I mean,
while I agree with that, all I really need is that one more bit of gear.
I mean, there's always one more bit of gear, but I did a whole, now we're having I did a whole episode of my podcast about YouTube regrets, and my biggest regret with YouTube was not starting sooner. And that's really it. I've made bad videos, I've had mean comments, all the things, but the only regret is not getting started sooner, because you just feel like, oh man, I could have gotten to that point a little bit quicker. So that's why that taught me to really just jump in and not be afraid to fail quickly. And
yeah, I don't know what it is that I'm particularly afraid of. I mean, I know you follow me on Twitter now, and you've probably seen I don't have the thinnest skin on there. I tend to get in a lot of fights, but it's I think it's more just I see people like yourself and how good your videos look, and I find myself going, well, I don't want to go in anything less than that.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I don't think that's an uncommon thing. I feel the same way, where I'm like, oh gosh, this is terrible, and then someone's like, yours looks good, and I'm like, it does? Okay. So I think at any level, and again, like, just judging by how I know you from our interaction so far, and now seeing what you got, it would be fine. Yeah. It's more of just, is it the thing you actually want to invest your time and energy into? But do
you have any questions for us, Aaron, before you go?
Oh goodness. Well,
you don't have to.
I guess one of the questions is, as a couple who make creative work together, does that ever cause any conflict? I mean, how much getting into each other's business is there?
Honestly, no, because we create. It doesn't cause conflict when we're creating our own things, because I don't really care to give my opinion on his stuff unless he asks for it. I think there is sometimes conflict on the things that we do together, because earlier this year we started a business together, and it really isn't. It's conflict more of like, let's understand,
like ironing out.
like how to get on the same page. Like, do we, we agree on the goal, but the process is something that we just need to iron out and stuff like that. But he, both of us have our completely separate equipment, studio spaces, like everything's separate. So it's more of like getting feedback and
the fun part is actually, like, today the video that came out on my channel was about how we kind of do like this live stream, and like Heather helped me film it, and every once in a while she'll have me on her channel, and it's fun because it feels like actually being, at least for me, it feels like being a guest. Like, it's fun to help out on her channel. So it's I don't know, I enjoy it.
And it's cool because we create content that's so different. Like, literally, like, what are some of the comments that you've gotten today?
Great live stream. My Canon 90D doesn't stay on long enough for me to do a live stream. How can I adjust the menu setting?
Yeah, like the first comment I woke up to this morning was just idiot. I'm just like, okay, why do I do this? And then, like, he like centers me, and I'm like, okay, it's just that one comment, whatever. And then it'll be like the other way around, and I'll be like, no, 25,000, man. Like, so it helps to kind of like encourage each other and support each other. Yeah.
Well, it was great to see behind the scenes of how the jokes get made.
Oh yeah. That's definitely how that happens.
Yeah.
So we did this thing where we scheduled so many people, and now I'm realizing we should dedicate time to have one guest per episode too. So this is going to be our speed dating round.
Yeah.
But I really
yes. I will make an exit here to make room for the next person. But thanks for having me on. It's wonderful to see you both, and I love both your channels. So thanks so much.
Thanks, Aaron.
Be sure to check out Aaron's. We'll leave links to everyone. We'll have to edit it after this, but we'll leave links to everyone down in the description too. So you can see them. Take care. Get some rest.
Thanks.
See you.
Bye.
And then we push a button.
We push a button.
Hey,
all right, cool.
That was fun. We had our first guest. Wait, where is it? I need to push the button over here to celebrate.
Oh my gosh.
First guest.
This roadcaster situation.
There we go.
All right. Cool.
That was really fun.
That was fun. This is very exciting. Okay, Touseef. I hope you're ready, man. Because we're adding you right now. Okay, so let's do the intro.
That's okay.
Our next guest is a huge follower of Tom. That's where he came from.
Yes.
Yeah, I think most people came from your channel. He's a YouTuber himself.
Yes.
With a very
from the other side of the world also.
Yeah, completely other side of the world. Very cool setup. Very cool style.
So here's the thing with Touseef is he was in some chats. We were talking on some of our live streams. He's been here a few times. And for some reason, I was just under the impression that he was like, I'm thinking of getting started, started. And then
he hadn't started.
We dove in and checked out his channel, and it's so good.
It's so good.
It's so well developed. He's got such a good style. He's got such a good on-camera.
It's definitely one of those. Like Tom used to. I mean, he still gets this comment, but it's like, how do you not have millions of subscribers? Yeah. It's one of those where you look at the channel and it just doesn't. It doesn't like correlate with the number of subscribers because it looks really good.
And I love that he's constantly working to like learn more, and we'll see, to really enjoy the process overall. So we hope you're ready.
Okay, here we go. Boop.
Boop. What's up, guys?
Hi! Yes! What's up?
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good as well. Thank you for asking. I'm just a little bit nervous. I feel like I'm on TV.
Don't worry.
Don't be nervous. You're just hanging out with us.
What time is it over there? And let us know where you are and what time it is where you are.
Yeah, I'm from Pakistan, and the time here is 4:16 a.m.
Oh my gosh. Because I feel so bad.
I don't remember if it was you and Aaron or you and somebody, but in our last live stream, somebody was eating dinner and somebody else was eating breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah. I was like, how cool. So I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for getting up at 4 a.m. If you weren't already. We're sorry we're just sorry, but we're so glad you're
here.
Hopefully you kind of heard some of the flattering things I said about your channel. We will leave links to everything, but can you tell us just a little bit about yourself, what you do, creatively? Just give us a little snippet as to like who you are.
Who are you?
Well, so like as a child, I always wanted to be an astronaut, but that doesn't really matter. But later on, about when I was like 14 or 15, I wanted to be a doctor. So I went into pre-medical studies in college. And after that, I did not get good enough marks. Apart from biology, I really sucked at maths. So I did not get admission into MBBS and MBBS college for that. So later on, I just shifted my career towards coding in computer science. And within computer science, I sucked there as well because I was bad at maths. And then I shifted my department within the same university to bioinformatics, which is actually a combination of biology and computer science again. And there within my first or second semester, one of my teachers who was teaching us programming, he made fun of me in like just jokingly that you came from computer science, still you suck at programming and you're worse than others. And that triggered me a little bit, and I started to work hard on programming, and eventually I became like the best programmer in the class, and everybody came to me for guidance and everything. I started doing assignments for other people, which make me felt good. Like the most important thing to learn is to teach others. That's what I learned from that experience. And after that, after university, I just started to do some freelancing because I did not want to get into Android development. I freelanced on Windows 10 store applications, which is really rare. There are no real developers in the world for that platform at that time, and eventually no real jobs as well. So everybody kept saying, "Don't do that. That's completely useless." And I was obviously jobless for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, one day, I received an email from CEO of a company in USA who asked me when can I start. That's what his direct question, because he saw one of my apps, a video player on Windows Store. And then we just discussed salary, and I have been working about 1.5 years there. And when the money started to come in, then I realized then I have to buy some expensive gaming PC, because that was one of my hobbies from the start. And after I bought that, one day I was just watching stream for Modern Warfare on Twitch. And I realized I should do that.
Yeah.
But then I realized wherever I live, I cannot, no matter how much money I throw at them, I cannot have a good internet connection here.
Oh.
So plan to stream eventually failed at that time, but I had bought the camera, the Sony A6400 anyway. So I decided to start a YouTube channel. That's how I started this.
How
Wow,
cool.
I love
The
so many parts about
evolution.
that story.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it seems like, especially at the beginning, it embodies what Aaron talked about fail often and fail
Yep.
early and fail often. And that's just next thing till you find the thing. But
I was pre-med too, Touseef. And then I think you've heard this story. I saw a C-section and then fainted. So I couldn't be in the health field anymore because I can't. When I see blood, I just can't deal with it. And I liked bio, I liked math. I did not like organic chemistry. So it just wasn't gonna work.
Yeah, chemistry is the worst.
Yeah.
So now you've got your channel up and running, which, I mean, everything on it looks and sounds terrific. How would you describe, like, what are you doing with your channel? Where are you taking it? You know,
What do you share? Like, what do you make content about?
Yeah, I'm actually still in experimental phase, to be honest. Actually, so that's why my channel name is just my name. That's the biggest hint that I don't know what I'm doing with it. I also have like a second channel where I just post my gameplay videos. So I'm like still I might create 3 or 4 channels, just for the sake of experiment, and whatever works, whatever I feel good with. Because like in life, like even in the story, you have noticed that I'm not like staying on one thing for too long until like what I go with whatever I like.
Yeah,
right.
That's like me.
That's the best way to do it. You never know how everything's going to end up connecting later on. And
and the second thing that you start might be better. You might not like that better than the first thing. And
and you do something totally irrelevant over here, and then it ends up being a crucial part of this new thing that happens later, but you would have had no way of knowing. And
unless you tried.
Exactly. So I love that whole philosophy and that whole journey, and that watching someone do those things makes me really excited.
It's motivating. Yeah,
for sure. And your idea of, the importance of learning and teaching, like the best way to learn anything is to also try to teach it to others and try to explain it and try to share it with others. That's going to help teach you about the thing even more than the people you're trying to teach sometimes.
Yeah. So to see any questions for us.
Yeah. So I have the biggest question for both of you, and I think so it's going to be pretty interesting.
I'm nervous.
Where do both of you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay. So Heather's going to be making 7 figures a month, and I'm going to be a well-kept husband.
Wow.
But where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Apparently making 7 figures a month. Okay. I would be 40.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm going to be 40 in 5 years. Let's see. So here's my goal. I want Tom and I's like company to really become a thing. And I want whatever it is that we're creating right now to really like cultivate future creators isn't the word, but and next generation isn't the word either. But it's like we want to, because that's always been part of our philosophy is like inspiring people who are kind of on the fence of creating, and then they end up creating and it turns into really, a big part of their lives. I want to do more of that as much as we could. And I think both of us are doing that right now through our YouTube channels. But I think like if we can create something that's a little bit more formalized so we can help more people share their stories, that would be my dream. I'm not really sure like how that's going to look in 5 years. Cause like, right now I'm building my online course, and it's like, I feel like we're in the experimental phase of how we try to optimize that 5 years from now. Like we have to kind of try to see what works. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Is that your same goal or is it not?
No, I am very much on board with this plan. There's no conflict there.
I just dragged you into my goal.
No, well, it's not shocking. Like it's not a thing we've talked about before. No, that I agree wholeheartedly. And the thing that I'm trying to stay cognizant of is I've been rewatching The Office lately, like during lunch breaks and stuff. And towards the end of the series, Ed Helms has a quote where he talks about, I wish you had a way of knowing you were in the good old days while you were still in them.
Yeah.
Because he thinks back to, like, you know, his point in time then is he's reminiscing about what it used to be like to work with all these people in the office. But when he was in the office, he was reminiscing about his college days.
Yeah, you're always like reminiscing on the
one
past.
thing that I'll say is there's so much about where things are right now that I enjoy so much, and I constantly try to just soak that up as like this. There's so many things that happen where I just think like I'm gonna look back in a few years and wish I could be back here, and I'm trying to hang on to that as much as possible while building that and going forward. And that's tougher than it sounds. But yeah. I don't. So I want to go to these new exciting places, but I also I don't want to lose touch of the things that I appreciate so much that are right here, right now, and I don't have to wait 5 years for.
There you go.
So that was a great
thought-provoking.
And that was a perfect answer as well. Actually, that's what I've learned as well, that we have to live in present instead of like. Actually, I asked this question because whenever we go to a job interview and they ask this question, I just want to like walk out. This is the most stupid question, in my opinion.
So, yeah, I know it's a silly question.
I know. It usually doesn't involve like, I want to work for this corporation. Well, so thank you so much. Again, we'd love to have you back on in the future. Before you go, though, is there anywhere you'd like to share where people can find you, your channel, social media, anything like that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Heather is going to put my link in the description, but for other people, just youtube.com/Touseef. That's it.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I hope you have a great day. Maybe get some rest too.
Thank you for having me as well. And next time I'll try to turn on the camera as well, because right now the internet connection is not good enough. So that's
it sounds real clear. All right, bye, Touseef.
Bye-bye.
Woo, that was so cool.
Whew. We've been all around the world now today. To our special guests, thank you for being patient.
I know.
I was so excited because Heather's like, we got this person and this person and this person. I was so excited. Then right before this, I was out like taking the dogs outside, and I was like, wait, they're going to have
time zones. Yeah. There's time zones colliding.
So I'm very appreciative to everybody. We have all kinds of comments happening.
I know. Okay, let's check in really quick. Our next guest, we're bringing back local, kind of local.
Yes.
But let's check in with the comments. What are we missing?
People are having a lot of fun.
Okay.
Gene, I just saw he was the one that was eating dinner, and Touseef was the one eating breakfast. And there's lots of fans of The Office in the chat, which is great. It's probably like my 4th or 5th watch through of it, but I haven't watched it in years, so it's almost like watching it new.
What are we talking about?
The Office.
Okay, so I can't watch the freaking Office.
I know.
I wish I could, but I get so motion sickness and like the stupid camera.
I'll be watching it and it's normal, and then she walks in, she's like, "Oh my god, look at the camera, look at this," and I'm like, I don't even notice.
I just get sick.
She's the most motion sensitive person I've ever met.
Sucks. I really want to watch that show. I feel like it's up my alley. But anyway, okay,
so good.
Let's we'll chat with you guys.
We'll check in after our guests with our chats. But
okay. Our next guest, I'm excited because our next guest is a podcaster, and both of us have been guests on his podcast,
along with like some really huge creators. So like, I
can't believe
we snuck in a little bit.
I can't believe I've been on the same podcast as some of the people on there. It's really cool.
People who have channels many, many times larger than our own. But but the thing that's really cool about him is he is a great example of diving in, getting started, and just I don't know, getting it done. He'll kind of tell you, I'm sure, a little bit more about it. But this is Jared from the Hive Podcast.
Jared. Woo!
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going? Oh my god, your setup looks so good. I love it.
I got trying to do the colors, right? Keep on theme with you guys.
We actually match really well.
I know.
Like, one looks good. You got the nice pod mic. It's all the same gear happening basically here.
Awesome.
So, what's up, Jared?
Hey guys, how are you guys doing? I mean, I'm in San Diego, and it's like 95 out, and I have the AC on, the fan on in my office, and I'm still dying. And I know it's a lot hotter where you guys are at.
110 here right now. I know you're from our neck of the woods a little bit. For anyone not local, we're a couple hours apart, but San Diego's beach weather.
Yeah.
And
beach weather, 95.
I know.
Summer beach weather. So let's see here. There's so much tell us about who you are, your show, what you create. Give us
tell us about
the
your
little
podcast, all
bio.
of the things.
Oh man, where to start? So I host a podcast called the Hive Podcast. It's all about having conversations with entrepreneurs and creators like yourselves, in hopes that your stories inspire other people to pursue their goals, whether it's starting a business, joining a band or starting a band, starting YouTube, podcast, whatever. Like, everybody started out the same. We all started out inexperienced. We all started off with not every tool that we need to be successful. So I think hearing those stories and seeing where people are at now will inspire people. Hopefully, it inspires me when I look at those kind of stories.
And you're, what is it, about 15 episodes in?
So 16 this week. Yeah, 16 was on Monday. And even within that amount of time, it's the way I do things have changed a lot.
Yeah.
Is there any, so this is great actually. So, cause you started it was at the beginning of this year ish.
Yeah, it was like right when the pandemic hit. Around March, I think, is when I launched my first episode.
And how long was it an idea to execution?
Oh, the idea. I mean, I've been wanting to start a podcast since probably 2011. But I always got like sidetracked. So from like getting serious at it as an idea, it was probably maybe like 6 months in the works.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And you've really
somehow I launched Siri.
Okay. And you've really, I mean, your podcast has, it feels like it just very quickly became like in like the niche, the kind of the genre of, who's on the podcast. It just became one of the staples.
Yeah.
Very quickly, which is really cool. And you started out with a lot of great guests and some huge names. I'm really interested in what it took to just sort of make that happen. Maybe there were pre-existing, networking or connections, or if it was just approaching people that you thought were interesting emails, and just, that confidence of, I got this thing. It's awesome. You should be a part of it.
Yeah. I mean, there was some strategy to it a little bit. It was first, interviewing and getting people I knew on the show so I could have a base of episodes. You got to start somewhere. And then after that, I always had the goal of where I wanted the podcast to go. And it's headed that direction now, kind of within the niche of creators and filmmaking and photography. But yeah, all that was kind of just hitting people up on Instagram and email. Like I think, with you, Tom, I reached out, I think just, cold email, like, hey, I love your channel. You want to come on my podcast? Same thing with, Donna Did It, Sydney Dionzin, Valentina V. Those were all just straight up, hey, here's my podcast, what it's about. And it would be cool to have you on.
See, that's so cool because, oh my gosh, I love how I'm sure there was hesitation, maybe there wasn't, but I just love how it doesn't seem that way on this end. It's just like, you just went for it. Cause I'll tell you, for me, it's like, oh, I'm not like, my podcast isn't good enough. My thing isn't good enough to be asking this person who I admire to be on the show or to be a part of it. And you just like, clearly it doesn't matter because everyone agreed to be on it. And that didn't stop you. You just did it anyway. And I just admire that so much.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. I think you got to start. What's the worst they're going to say? No.
Yeah, no.
Exactly.
Move on to the next.
They're going to say no and delete all your accounts and like. So I'm curious now, having been through this and you've been doing so much podcasting over the past few months. What are, if there's one thing or a couple things that really stands out as like the lesson, whether it's a creative thing, like the production side of it or the communication part of it? I feel like you've condensed like years of learning into 16 episodes. And I feel like there's valuable knowledge there.
Well, first off, I mean, start educating yourself. That's what I do. Every spare minute I have, I'm consuming or, content about something I want to learn. It's not necessarily binging content just for entertainment, but just try to get value out of how I'm using my free time, whether it's reading or watching YouTube or listening. So I highly recommend doing that. If you have a goal, consume as much content as you can related to what you want to do, so you can get that knowledge. There's so much free information out there to help you progress whatever it is you want to do that's out there. And then from the podcasting side, I've learned, I did that. I at first just recorded everything baked in, which I wasn't a fan of. And now using multi-tracks and being able to edit audio, I feel like the production value has grown a ton.
Yeah, I mean, everything does look and sound good. And for my podcast and even for this show, we do everything like baked in, as you said, where it's all just kind of one take. But for the podcast I do with Peter Lindgren, since he's in Sweden and I'm in California, there does have to be more editing, and it's actually been really fun. I didn't think I would like it, but I've really been enjoying like diving into like Adobe Audition and learning how to just sweeten things up a little bit and tighten things up. And it's a cool experience. So and it really does improve the production quality.
It does. I got into this because I was making YouTube videos, and I was running out of time to put a ton of effort into them, but I still wanted a creative outlet. So I'm like, I'll start a podcast. I've been wanting to do this for a while. It'll be quick and easy, right? Hit record, done, upload. Especially after watching your videos, Tom, I was like, I could do that. That's no problem. And then when you start getting into like, okay, I really want like crisp, clear audio. I want to, learn how to properly use an EQ and a compressor and a limiter. And I'm going to start cutting out dead air. And now, an hour episode might take like a good 3 hours to edit, because you listen to it over and over again, and you're cutting and you're adjusting the EQ. It's funny because it's the complete opposite from what I started.
Yeah, I can definitely get, because the one I do with Peter, it's funny because our voice tracks are on separate things, and I can tell like if he's talking, I can recognize the waveforms now. That's just me making a dumb noise, like just something that adds nothing to the conversation and is probably going to be annoying to the listener. And I can just see it, and I get really angry and like cut it out, because I'm like, why are you didn't need to make that noise and interrupt his story. But it's really cool. Then you just cut it out and it sounds perfect.
Especially when you're recording remotely. I don't know if you've noticed this, but sometimes when you're using like Skype or Zoom, there's a delay and like when your guest starts speaking, and it's almost like just slightly uncomfortable when you're listening back to it. So you start cutting and then you're moving clips, and then it gets crazy after that.
It's fun. I mean, I love that. I think yours is a perfect example. And it even reminds me of what Touseef said, where he was talking about streaming and he was consuming, and then it sparked him where he was like, I should just do this. And I think that so many people, they do get into their thing and they stop consuming. And I think just absorbing so much around you is what's going to help you create more and kind of spark new ideas and stuff. And then I think what you've just said is a great example of, starting relatively simple and growing as you got interested in it, but also then as the needs became more apparent. But it wasn't like, if you were operating at the level that you're operating right now from episode 1, it never would have got started probably, because it would have just been too daunting. But kind of like easing in and then growing with it.
Yeah, growing organically, figuring it out as you go.
That's
your first guest said it perfect. Start, fail fast. Failure's experience. The only way you're going to get better is by failing. And so what if it sucks when you first start? Like, who cares? I mean, who's going to go back to my first episode? I mean, very few, right? Luckily, the way podcast platforms work, they always show your most current episode. So if someone's going to listen to it, they're always going to get the best episode first.
It's true. I don't know if other people like this, but I know me with podcasts. If the episode's too old, since they tend to be conversational and sometimes a little timely, I almost feel like, if this one's like 2 years old, I'm going to be listening to like an out-of-date conversation, even if that's not the case. And so I really do gravitate towards the new ones and then work my way back to the old ones whenever I find a new show. Yeah.
Nice. Jared, do you have any questions for us?
I did, but you answered them all on my podcast. So all your viewers will have to go listen to my podcast to hear the questions I had for you guys.
So that's true. Where if somebody wanted to listen to this podcast, where could they go?
Anchor and all platforms, the Hive Podcast. So pick your favorite platform and look it up.
Yes, and follow Jared on social media because he's active and fun and like super engaging.
Yeah, and if you want branding inspiration, Jared, on point, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for joining us. We'd love to connect again at some point in the future. It'd be super
For sure.
fun.
It was good. Good having you, Jared.
Thanks for doing this, guys. It's been great.
Thank you. Take care.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, this is so much fun.
I know.
I'm like really enjoying this. So thank you guys.
All right, guys. So, how are we doing?
We're good.
We're doing good. Okay.
We're moving on. We're moving on. We're going. I'm very excited for our next guest.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know what? You should do the intro because I know her as Faith.
I
know her. She has you. Yeah.
I'm going to have to do a time capsule intro. This is why I'm excited. Our next guest was one of my students in my first year of teaching digital media. And so what that meant was it was like my second or third year teaching overall. And maybe 5 weeks into the school year, our school's digital media teacher announced that he was leaving and taking a different position somewhere else. And I was asked to fill that role. I didn't even think about it. I was like, yes, this sounds amazing. Jumping right in. I'm super excited. And then the thing is, the teacher who left had been there for a long time and students really liked him. And so I was jumping in like this exciting new job and, setting things up. And a lot of the students who were, seniors at the time had been there for 3 or 4 years. They were not that interested in having somebody else come. They did not like their teacher leaving. They did not like somebody else showing up and and fortunately, that wasn't the case for everybody. There were some really incredible people. And our next guest is definitely someone who helped me to feel very welcome as I stepped into the world of teaching digital media way back when, 7 years ago now, 8 years ago. I don't know. This is like this school year and calendar years don't line up. So it's like, it was 7 years ago, but it's like my 8th or 9th year teaching digital media. It's a weird thing. But anyway, that was 2013. And so that was a long time ago. So my intro is the person I knew 7 years ago, but now we have an adult in their 20s, living life. And I'm super excited to see what they're up to. So
Jessica.
Hi. Oh my God. I would like show up like this. I'm like in my kitchen, so the lighting's not the best.
Oh, you look great.
It's so nice to see you.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Like I'm part of this music collective Discord with a bunch of DJs and stuff like that. And one of them linked like a mic video that you did, Tom. And I was like, oh, what? And so like I was really excited to like find out like, oh my God, what is he up to right now? Like every now and then I think, what happened? Sorry, I can't.
Is that how you found his channel?
Yeah, because I was trying to figure out like, well, what is he doing? And then I found that video. And then while I was like in my search to kind of like figure out like what people from high school were up to, I found a video about how Tom won Teacher of the Year this year. Aww. And I was like, oh my God, that's really cool. And it made me really think about my experience in my last year of high school and how that kind of like really changed what I really wanted to do as a career. And like Tom really made a big impact on me. Like I remember we were doing this project where we had to adapt a scene from Hamlet, and every student got like one scene to do, and we were all put together in one video and watched it at the end of the year.
Yes, because I also took senior English that year. That was it was
like Hamlet.
I taught the digital media, but I also became the English teacher for the seniors. So we kind of merged it, and we broke it up into scenes. So each group got a scene, but they could do it any way they wanted.
So they recorded, they like acted
they film adapted or animated or whatever their scene.
Okay.
And then we cut it all together. So it ended up being like a 48-minute movie at the end of it that was just like all over the place in terms of
do something like that.
It was that was a fun project.
That was fun. And sorry.
No, please go ahead. I know there's our little delay, but it's okay.
Yeah. yeah, and so that was like my first exposure to screenwriting, because we had to do our scenes and interpret it into like a film script for people we were going to recruit to act in that video. And I got really interested in screenwriting after that. And I was originally going to go into animation and do that. But once I got to figure that out and see how it really was, sorry, let me collect my words. Once I got a chance to see kind of like how you craft like the story from behind the scenes that way, I was more interested in the storytelling aspect of animation more so, because I always did comics growing up. I always did like little snippets and like my own like stories of like characters from like games and stuff like that I just kind of like putting them in a scene. So that inspired me to go to Cal State Northridge to do screenwriting. And then I found my love for animation again through there, and I found like my place there because I felt more in tune with the people in the animation department than in the screenwriting department, sadly. But so I got a chance to do both of these things that I really loved at the end of the day, and I got a chance to really learn what it was like to craft the story together and like just put my whole heart and love into that. And I really want to thank Tom for that, because I had like probably like the best experience in college because of it, because I was able to really craft my education how I needed it, because I would take animation classes synonymous to like screenwriting classes that would help me, and I was able to kind of write my final because of a storyboarding class that I took, and it was just like so amazing. Like I'm very thankful for the people that I met.
I need you to be a guest on my like Zoom classes right now for my high school
kids. You should totally talk to the
kids.
kids. You need to talk to an alumni. That'd be so cool.
I think that'd be really cool, because right now I'm working in graphic design, because I'm doing stuff for like for animation education and stuff like that.
Okay.
The company I work for, we hold like classes and live drawing sessions, and we work with a lot of professionals to come have them come in and offer their expertise to students who are up and coming, or just veterans who just want to come and like see old friends and continue honing their skills. It's like open for everybody. You don't have to be an artist. You can be from like any kind of background. And we're kind of glad that this, like, I hate to say it because I hate the pandemic, but this whole surge of online courses has really helped like boom us.
Yeah, we were talking about that too, that it seems like it's going to be almost like a defining moment that pushes like a generation of people forward into forcing you to dive into something new and different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it reminded me of that time in a previous couples table. Hold on, I need to drink some water.
That's okay.
In a previous couples table podcast where you were talking about the importance of college, like both matter. Like you can do college and you can do online courses. Like in the animation community, this place called Concept Design Academy is really big, and it's all online. And like you sign up for courses and you talk with professionals like over video and stuff like that, and you're able to craft your education to fit it into your schedule that way. And it's really awesome. It's like so integral in like the learning process for everybody. And Nick and Cartoon Network and Disney recently had a lot of webinars this past month that that people from my company and people from communities I'm in all went to, and I was able to like take so many notes on things like, oh my god, I gotta redo my portfolio. And then lo and behold, Cartoon Network opened up their applications again, so I'm like, oh my god, you know, like I can apply all of this to kind of like feel more confident to reapply, because like, you know, I've had interviews with like Nick before and it didn't work out, but I'm glad that my job is kind of like exposing me to talk to professionals and kind of like figure out how to present myself in a more professional manner over time, more than I think college did. They exposed me to the fundamentals, but like I have to continue learning afterwards anyway. Like you never stop learning. That's one thing that I will always take.
I love your story. Like I feel like an ease because, you know, my students leave and I never know what happens. And it's so comforting to know. You see, I connect with some of them, but a lot of them you spend years together and then they're just gone. Yeah. And it makes me feel so good to know that you're doing so well and you're pursuing something you're so interested in. But the biggest thing I think picked out of your story is, especially like being into animation, then being more into story, and then rediscovering animation. What we've been talking about, and it's kind of a thing that pops up at the start of the school year, is knowing your why, which sounds like the cheesiest thing in the world. But it's like, you kind of know what you're doing all the time. Okay, I'm making a YouTube video. I'm writing an online course. I'm doing this. The what is easy and basic, but it's the why that drives it. And it almost sounds like for you, like the animation was the what, and you had to like learn about story and like that communication to really build the why. And then when you rediscovered animation, now it's a vehicle for
the why.
The why. And that's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. And it just seems like you're such a good example of that. And then from there, you can, the sky is kind of the limit in terms of where you can take that, because even with school, like if you're doing these online courses, if you're doing a traditional school, if you're doing your own thing, if you have that why in the back of your head of the reason that you're there and what you're trying to do, all the other things, they take on a totally different like form and purpose and context with what you're doing. And I'm sort of like, it's been this amorphous thing that I've known, but I'm like materializing it recently in a way where I understand how important it is to have that why behind what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Helping you to talk to her, reinforcing your why.
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, it's wild. One of our upcoming guests, I think we need to connect you with.
Yes.
Because you're talking about working with these companies and branding and how to present and all these things. And he is the expert at that. So
I would love that.
You guys connect. It's like brother.
Like I would love to stay connected. And like, I think it would be, because you actually talked with the previous guest about how you wanted to kind of expand like your brand with like your show that you're doing. And my company works with a lot of those artists. I think it'd be really cool to have you guys like teach something,
Cool.
Yeah. So
we need to keep having these conversations. We will talk.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And speaking of, like my company, we have this animation expo every year. So I like run events with them over there, and I'm like a host for like the career camp and stuff like that. And we're like looking to convert our convention to online kind of. So that also would be a really good thing to do. But yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love everything about this. This has been like such a joy. And we need to talk about these different things happening. But I'm just so happy that you shared your story. I'm so happy you're doing so well. It really like brings me such a joy.
I'm really glad that you're doing so well. Like you and Heather are like so amazing together. Like it's I love watching all these videos. I was like binging once I found your channel, and I was like, oh my god, Heather has a channel. I gotta watch all her videos.
Oh, that's
she's the OG between us. Well, thank you for giving us your time. We will definitely reconnect, and we see you active in the comments, and that's always super appreciated.
We'll
just to help the community. So enjoy the rest of your night.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'll be in the comments. I'll see you guys around. Bye. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
How cool was that?
All right. Who's up next?
All right. Our next guest. Okay, I'll do the intro for this one.
I don't know who our next guest is.
Oh, well, I'm sure you'll be able to tell based off of my intro. Let's see. A food connoisseur. Okay. Pretty much my brother. I think I've known him for like, well, not most of my life yet, but getting there. Let's see. Fellow gamer.
YouTube sensation.
Yeah, YouTube sensation. Just all around awesome guy. One of my bestest friends, and his name is James.
Hey, how are you guys? Can you hear me?
We can hear you great.
I'm so glad I'm fifth, because that gave me enough time to like get my setup all together, because I was like, I can't go on this show and say Tom and Heather has taught me so much about live streaming and have like a horrible setup. So I even moved my Yeti mic that you guys gifted us here for good crisp audio.
Live streaming though, I mean, geez, like if there's anyone who can teach people about live streaming.
Well, you know what's funny is like I've been reading the comments, and a lot of people have been saying that they're nervous, and I'm actually nervous because I'm not used to having real-time like conversation with people. It's usually me and Mark talking to the webcam, but now it's like, oh, this is kind of getting me a little bit out of my comfort zone. So selfishly, I wanted to join just because I wanted to see how the back end of everything works. So
Yeah.
this is really neat.
Do you see like the other guests?
I do, yeah. And there's a whole other private chat for anyone that is like in the waiting room.
Green room. It's like the VIP lounge.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I'm on like this is a legitimate talk show. You guys are just killing it.
We need we need some bottled water and like M&Ms back there.
Yeah. So like Tom said, James and Mark, they do a live stream show every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it really is like, to me, the best format of a live show. I mean, not only are they entertaining, but they have like segments built in, and they've been doing this for years. So everything is just like kind of building off on how to optimize and like what really rings true to their audience. And it's just been growing, and it's so interactive. It's so much fun. It's so unique. And I just, huge props to you, man, because I mean, I saw the journey since day one, and it's just been awesome to see how much it's evolved.
Yeah, you guys have been pretty much there for me like since day one, me and Mark. Like, I trust what you guys teach me. It's a lot harder to go on YouTube and just search up tutorials when you can. Oh, go ahead.
No, I thought you pushed something. So I'm like completely getting ahead of myself. I know you. I know we just talked like earlier today, but everyone else doesn't. So explain like who you are, what's your content, what's your channel, all the things.
So my name is James. My day job is I'm in nonprofit marketing, but my side, I guess, hustle is me and my husband, we film mukbangs, which are like online streams of us eating food. Sounds strange at first, but then once you give us a chance to just like pop in and watch us eat and have a conversation, it's actually pretty chill. And we've gotten to meet so many awesome people. I've made lifelong friends because of it, just using the platform. So me and Mark personally share like a passion for food. So it's just awesome to be able to share that with a bunch of people we also don't know on a weekly basis. Yeah.
How often do you guys upload? So you do the live stream show on Monday, and then
So the network actually just gave us the green light to do Friday night lives as well. So we're doing them Mondays and Fridays, and then we also are doing kind of like a pre-recorded YouTube, like a mukbang once a week. So we pretty much upload 3 times a week.
That's a crazy schedule.
No, it's crazy. And you both have full-time jobs.
We both do that as well.
Like full-time.
Full jobs.
Yeah. I'm actually in my office right now. It's just flipped the other direction.
Right. I'm in my classroom, so I get it.
Yeah. So
let's see. What do you have questions for James?
Well, so kind of going back to when Heather and I first met to sort of tie this whole thing together, 3 years ago, almost exactly, one of the first things that I did was I attended her progress party where she hosted, this event to sort of celebrate and showcase how far she had come after, setting out on her own journey. And that was a chance for me to like see her world, which I didn't know there's no connection to anybody. And James is one of the first people that I met and that I saw and that I talked to. And I was such a good example of this girl keeps really high quality people around her. And that's been true for every single person I've ever met.
How did you effectively compliment both of us at the same time?
I have an English degree. Language is
that is very impressive.
But I mean, it really was. I know it's a compliment, but I'm not just trying to like stoke some egos here. It really was a thing of like, wow, like everybody I encountered was just incredible. And Heather was just, this is her progress party. She was like too legit to quit. And then you were there and you were someone who was like, I'm doing this thing that I'm getting out of my comfort zone. I'm trying something that's a little bit different. I have my full-time job and I want to do this. And for me at that time, hearing that was just like, oh, wow, look, there's somebody else who's doing kind of what I want to do more of. And that was so inspiring and motivating. And then just to, be able to call you and Mark my friends and to get to know you so much more over the past few years has just been an absolute joy. And I mean, I've learned just so much from you guys in so many different ways that I can't say thank you enough.
Well, and Heather's always been like that since I've met. I mean, we met since I think junior year of college, and I feel like a lot of the great milestones I've had in my life was just because I had Heather there to kind of like give me a little nudge, and then I would just be like, okay, like I can, take it and run with it. So, I mean, there were moments where I was just like, what am I doing? Like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm putting out content that people weren't watching, people weren't responding to, but I just kept at it. And then we're at a point where it's just pinching myself thinking like, wow, people are actually, giving us their time, which is one of the highest forms of compliments you can get in this day and age, right? That's like money, that's currency, that's value. So just to be able to be in this position, 4 years later, has just been incredible. And it's awesome to just see you guys have such tremendous growth and impact on everyone that's been like coming in today's show.
Oh,
This is a very fun, positive thing. I don't know if I've ever asked you directly, why did you want to start a channel in the first place? What was that push for that like itch?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I mean, if I'm being very honest, the initial thought was like, I could be famous, but people don't know about me yet, right? And they're not going to know about me unless I try. And then over time, I'm like, okay, it's not going that direction, but at least the comments that I had gotten very early on, and even we're getting today, is there is a tangible impact that we're having on people's lives, especially during COVID. Like, people are cooped up in their house and they just want like 3 hours of entertainment. And if we're able to give them like a break from Netflix or Hulu and get to see actual people just enjoying each other's company and eating really good food, we're happy to be that for them. So
that's so cool. Yeah, if you guys get a chance, if you guys are watching and you haven't seen James's content, they're going live tomorrow. Just pop in, you'll see what we're talking about. It's so much fun, and it's unlike anything else you've watched on YouTube. It's super cool.
Yeah, I can remember not long after we met, I had to go to a work conference for like a week in Nashville, Tennessee. And it was really fun, but every night I would come back to the hotel and I was like alone in Nashville. And I had just like started a relationship with this super cool girl who was all the way over in California, and I was just feeling a little lonely. And then you guys would be streaming, and it was such a it really was an awesome way to just feel connected, feel not lonely. And it was so crystal clear to me, like, that the value that has, and what you guys do, and you guys have fun, and it's super positive, and I love the whole thing.
You guys do a really good job of making it so it's not like people are just watching you, but that they're a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a huge factor of what makes it unique.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have any questions for us?
I do have one, because I was like, what can I ask them possibly? So since you guys have started the couples table, what have you learned that you brought back to your own channels?
Oh, that's good.
That is a great one.
So how do I explain this? I rewatched the couples table episodes at least once.
Yes, she does.
After, because I need to listen to it from the viewer perspective, because I'm not really paying attention when we're here. I'm just in the conversation. So I always have to like put the creator hat on. And one of the things that I have really discovered in us doing the couples table is just like the authenticity is something that I think really fades away when I'm trying so hard to be strategic. And with this show, purposely, I was like, I don't care if this show grows. Like, I just want to do something with my husband that's just cool and fun. And like that is purely it. And if it grows, it grows. But I don't want to think about analytics and metrics and blah-de-dahs and none of that. And it's been cool to find myself laughing, rewatching our videos, because I'm like, okay, if I'm laughing, whoever's watching this is laughing, and this is like what I need to capture and put into the other things that I'm creating, because I just get wrapped up in the like making it perfect,
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be a common theme. I kind of along the same lines, like, this has really helped to teach me really the importance of community building and connecting with people, which is something I've been trying to do on my channel, but it just confirmed that. And it also I also try not to get wrapped up in things being perfect. And this is such a good exercise in like, just go for it. Like jump in, dive in, try your best, and making sure that that's okay for me to do on my channel, where it's like, yeah, it could be a little rough around the edges sometimes. And that literally is what gives it character and what makes it stand out. And this has been a great exercise in that. It's fun. Like I don't dread it. You know, like sometimes you can have a thing, you're like, oh man, it's Thursday, I gotta do this thing. I was sitting here doing this all day today, talking. My voice hurts, I'm exhausted, I'm hungry, but I was so excited to like do this show because it's really fun and there's no pressure and no stress. And it's like, that's such a great, that's just
a special thing.
It's a special thing. Yeah. And this show has taught me more about that.
Great question.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so you're another person we can definitely have a whole show.
Oh, yeah,
and we will.
Awesome. Well, thanks for letting me be part of it.
Yeah, thanks for giving us your time.
All right, we'll see you guys soon.
All right,
enjoy your time in the
later.
green room. All right, our final guest.
We're getting to it.
This is the guest, Jessica. If you're watching, and Kevin, I'm volunteering you for this. You guys need to like somehow
connect.
We need, I don't know, whatever, but there's good things happening here. And our next guest is my new brother-in-law.
Oh,
I'm very excited.
So happy. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'll just let him introduce himself because he's the best brother in the world. He's literally been my best friend since he was born. Personally, I think he's talented, way more talented than me in every single way possible. He's quite the resume. He's always doing stuff, always learning. He's just really cool. So this is my brother, Kevin.
Hey. Oh my gosh. That was
Are you
sudden.
There we go.
Huh? Hold on, wait. Okay, there we go. Hi guys.
What's up, man?
What's up? Oh, that was such a nice introduction.
Hi.
Thank you so much. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yeah. It's a little choppy,
okay,
but
okay.
we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
So, who are you? What do you do?
Tell us about yourself.
Who am I? Tell me yourself. I love this question. Except I don't know. It's been getting a lot more complicated to talk about that, even like now. But I don't know. I guess so. I'm a creative. So general, but I'm first and foremost kind of a designer. So a designer that started off doing like mostly graphics, motion design, and then going into 3D. But now ever since coronavirus hit, I've been on this journey to kind of learn a lot of different platforms, just because I think, creativity, it lives on many different mediums depending on like whatever kind of story that you want to tell. And as far as like the professional experience, so I've worked primarily in entertainment. One of the big companies I worked with is Disney, but I've also worked with like Warner Brothers, Lionsgate, worked with grocery retail, a lot of marketing and ad agencies. And, I think especially during this time, like it's really unfortunate for a lot of people, especially like those like who don't have those opportunities in the job market. I was also affected by it, but for me, I actually saw it very positively. I think it's been such a great, refreshing time for me to be able to kind of like recharge and relearn everything, or learn new things. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, and we will put links to everybody in the description. Definitely follow Kevin or check out his stuff. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got social media all over the place. Everything he shares is just so it's just so good and it's so creative. When he says like I'm experimenting with a thing or whatever, it's like
I laugh because it's like amazing. He always downplays it and it's just like yeah.
But anyway, he was also a speaker in my class last school year, pre-pandemic, where he got to kind of share his career journey to all like 210 of my students. And that was a day where not only were they super motivated, but both of us afterwards were like, we need to go. I redid my whole website. It's just fun to see somebody who is so excited about doing creative things, it makes you want to do something. And that's my favorite thing. It goes back to, back to Touseef, where you see something and there's that spark of, I want to do that. I want to do something. And that's, if you can ignite that, that's just such a powerful thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is the quality okay? I see it on YouTube and it seems like really blurry. So I'm like, I hope you guys can
you're
hear
like,
it.
you're like, it looks like you're slightly censored.
Oh gosh. Okay. Can you hear me at least? I think that's the important thing. Okay, great. Sounds good.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
Let's see. Kevin, do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, well, okay. So to start, I think, I started most recently getting back into YouTube, and I think that kind of started, from Heather and Tom. And I think I was always like nervous to do a YouTube channel because I was like, I don't know what kind of content I'm going to create. I don't know what really interests me. But I think ever since I started learning a lot of new stuff, like I've been learning a lot of programming, artificial intelligence, machine learning stuff, Blender. It's been really exciting to be able to record those learnings and then upload it on YouTube. And I think, again, learning is the best thing that anyone could do for just anything. And so Heather's been that person to push in that direction to say hey, you have a story to tell. I think it's really important that you share it with everyone. So it's like YouTube is one outlet for me, and it's a primary outlet for you guys, but is there another outlet? I know you guys are already doing a podcast. Is there anything else that you guys are looking at? What are you interested in perhaps doing one day?
Well, the last thing I need is another platform. So I'm not looking at anything else because I think it can go either way. I think it's important to diversify, but also you can spread yourself too thin, and then you don't put enough effort into any of it because you're trying to kind of juggle it all. So and plus I'm in the middle of, relaunching my online course and stuff. So at the moment I guess the new thing that I'm doing is my other YouTube channel, which is my tutorial YouTube channel specifically for people who are looking to build their own YouTube channels. And it's, obviously on the same platform, but it's a completely different audience. It's a completely different format. Everything about those videos are totally different from everything I upload here. So that's where I'm hoping to build an audience that's bigger than this one, and that's the thing I really want to be known for. How about you?
Nothing new, but this year I've really gotten into discovering how much I like podcasting.
Oh yeah, you have 3.
Yeah, I ended up
I know
podcasts now
a lot.
but, and it's just something where I genuinely enjoy it. I enjoy every part of it. I enjoy the gear, the production of it, the editing, the connecting with people. And the podcasts are so different. I would have never thought I'd have 3. So this is it's a live stream show. There's a video component. We're taking questions and comments. Even when we're not having guests, we still are engaging with the audience. And that's a whole different world. And I'm doing it with a co-host. And then I have my podcast, which is usually just me. Sometimes I have a guest, but it's usually just me kind of diving into, something that's on my mind, usually related to YouTube creativity, that kind of thing. But it's really fun to break out of the YouTube format, the, 10-minute, 15-minute, super edited, condensed thing, and just sort of let things breathe and explore them. And then my other podcast with Peter Lindgren, who lives in Sweden, where we can kind of connect more about the YouTube creativity stuff. And, to have a friend that lives on the other side of the world it's just, they're all so different, and they access different parts of my brain, and they make me solve different problems. And what's funny is all of these things, which I started as escapes from my day job to be things I could do outside of work, end up informing my teaching job, because everything I learned here it just goes back to okay, this is how this works, and this is how we can approach this, and this is how it's accessible for students and stuff. And everything just ends up being connected in this like mush, this stew of
especially for podcasts, because it's long form, so you're able to have like organic revelations that and they're creative. So it's like, I get inspired from doing this, even though it's like totally unrelated to anything, but it's just that the act of creating something that is kind of relatively low effort compared to producing a YouTube video. Yeah, it's like good. I'm glad we do this.
Yeah. It's like therapy. That's what I've told on my podcast, especially where it's just me and there's no video. And usually I'm just like in a blanket and it's like dark and I'm just going into thoughts. It's like, thanks for being my therapist this week.
Yeah.
I've now solved the problem. Siri said hello.
There's definitely a lot of opportunity for kind of those authentic moments, in a podcast medium. So
if you guys get a chance, go check out Kevin's YouTube channel and you'll see what I mean, because he made a birthday present for me. I can't even explain it. It's like he drew the whole thing from scratch and it's absolutely amazing. Like there's a lot of layers in it, and like there's trees and he like drew every leaf.
Thank you so much.
I highlighted a comment. Just being DM said his videos are beautiful to watch too. They are. I know that like you're still exploring and how you want to do it, but everything you've done right now is it's like satisfying in a way.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable. It's like relaxing. They're just fun. Like you can just tell someone is doing something they enjoy, and that's contagious.
Yeah,
in a good kind of
good way to put it.
You guys are so sweet. I know. So when I started doing like YouTube, because I had live streamed before on Twitch. And that was mostly because like I was really getting tired of doing like the same thing at my job. Of just like, design this in this specific way and, not really expanding your skill set. So I started live streaming on Twitch in order to like challenge myself to do like a piece every time I live streamed. But that format is so different because like, you have people in the chat and, you don't really have to like edit in a way that's like, almost like cinematic or that tells a story cohesively. But what I found that I really like about the YouTube medium is that, you could tell a really interesting story in like a nice, concise and amount of time, and it's cohesive and it works. But that's also kind of like, you got to think of like the angles and like the way that the story is told. So
that's why you just have to experiment. And I think that's been in this today's episode with all of our guests. Going off of back to what Aaron said to the very first guest, who was like, fail often. Like,
oh no!
Oops, that was my oopsie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay.
We will be back. There we go. That was my fault. Heather's computer is like about to die, so I was like, I'll unplug my power cord and plug it into her computer, and it just stopped everything.
Anyway, if any of you are kind of on the fence, or even if you are currently creators, like I think continuing to learn, continuing to experiment, and even like I would encourage you to try to consume content that isn't necessarily in your niche could give you some really cool ideas.
Yeah.
That's where I've been getting a lot of my ideas. I watch videos that I would have never watched before. Like I'm like super into beauty vlogger right now, which I don't even care about beauty, but I just love how excited she is about all her makeup and stuff. I don't know.
There's a certain technique that like, even if it's an industry I'm like totally not involved in, sometimes there's a video and I'm just like, I'm so interested in beekeeping right now and I don't know why, but I am. And because I don't know, there's a way that people are able to tell a story and make a topic look interesting, and I think that's like the most powerful tool is if you know how to tell a story, you can just make anything interesting,
Yeah.
So.
That's super true.
Yeah, Kevin needs to be a whole guest and can do a whole video on storytelling.
Every guest we've had today can be a whole episode easily. So, I just want to say before Kevin goes, Aaron recognized the Animal Crossing pic, And then Faith said that artwork was incredible.
There you go.
Oh, thanks so much. Thank you guys so much.
All right,
Really
Kev,
appreciate it.
it's been great.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Very much. Thank you.
You're awesome. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
All right, bye, Kevin.
All right, I'll see you guys. Bye.
Bye. I should also just mention, I'm going to kind of shift gears a little bit, but last week we didn't have an episode. My dad passed away last week, which was, well, it's still pretty rough, but while we had to sort of be out of town in emergency, Kevin really like stepped in and kind of saved the day, taking care of our dogs and our house and everything while we were like, you know, adding one more night out of town, one more night unexpectedly. So not just a good designer, good artist, but just genuinely good human being. And I really appreciate that.
Aw, that's awesome. Well, I kind of just want to scroll through the comments. I have 5% charge left. So
that's why I tried to give you the juice.
Yeah, but that's the juice.
No, no, it's because my
unplug?
laptop is closed. So I unplugged it and it just screwed everything up.
Oh.
It doesn't matter.
Oh. So what'd you think of our first call-in show, Tom?
It was so much fun.
It was so much fun. So our plan is to do this every not 9th episode, but like 9th, 19th, 29th.
Like once a month? Or
No. Oh,
wait, 9th, 19th. That's like every week. Oh, you mean episode, not of the month. Sorry.
No, episode
This is
number.
us discussing our
Yeah, because the 10th was gonna be like our celebration one where we do stuff, you know. We're planning to do like
it's like basically
like a fun
take a book out of James and Mark's.
Yeah, definitely inspired by James and Mark. But we have like games planned and stuff. So we're planning to do that every 10th episode.
And so every 9th episode can be
the call-in show.
The call-in show is so much fun.
This was so much fun. We should definitely have a theme. Let's try doing a theme next time. And I saw some of the comments. Some of you guys were like, "Oh, where's the link to join?" Maybe that's what we'll do next time. It's like we won't have scheduled guests. We'll just like if you want to join, like just join.
I would like to bounce back and forth between that and then also having like somebody for the whole time so we can really dive in and get to know more about the people and their journey and have those discussions.
Yeah. So this has been good.
It's so much fun. It's the magic of the internet, right? Like it's wild. We talk to people from all over the planet.
I know. How crazy is that?
Yeah. And we're just in our house. It's crazy.
So should we scroll through the comments?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Aaron's like, there's so many comments you'll never get through.
Yeah, unfortunately we can't go back, but it's been nice. I've been checking and it's cool to see people in the comment community just engaging with each other. And it really gives that whole vibe.
So I'll read the comments after when I watch the replay. My laptop's about to die, but thanks for being here. I think we can end it.
Well, what I wanted to show real quick, I have my multicam set up.
Oh,
so this is one of the reasons we need to leave is because
Ben is itching to go outside and get dinner. So
yes, and then I don't know if I'll be able to see him, but down here in his crate, oh, my camera got unplugged. Well, never mind. Maybe you can see it from this angle. This little towel thing here is our corgi Finley, who's probably old enough where he doesn't really need to be in the crate, but just in case, he just takes a nap the whole time. Yeah. But anyway, those are our boys. That's what's happening like off over here the whole time.
So thanks for being here, guys. Thanks again. Super, super special thanks to our guests. It was just I'm like so thrilled to have been able to connect with you, talk with you guys. And it's like so cool how we're all doing different things. We're all from different places. It's just like, I mean, literally the first time we met ever in person was 2 days ago.
That was the anniversary. It was the 18th, so day before yesterday.
3 years ago, that's when we met, and we were doing a live stream.
The day we met,
and we were just talking about like the power of these digital tools, and especially 3 years ago, where I felt like it was a very different world, and we felt that there wasn't enough people weren't realizing like look how cool these tools are, and when we met, we were like geeking out about it, and it was so cool, and I mean this is just proof of it, and it's I don't know, I'm so excited.
Yeah, so thank you guys for being guests. Thank you for being in the chat. Thanks for listening, and just thanks for being an awesome community.
And later on, if you want to learn more about any of our guests, I will definitely update the YouTube description with all of their links. So definitely come back to this video and check them out.
Absolutely. Otherwise, let me play the song. There we go. Otherwise, we hope you guys have a great week, and we will see you next time. It's time to clear the table.
Thanks for watching, listening.
Bye.
Bye.